Welcome to a new video tutorial from Newsmates. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you one of the simplest yet powerful automatic pagination methods offered by EasyCatalog, the master page-based pagination. Using this type of pagination is similar to using a mold to make cupcakes, where your data serve as the ingredients and the master page acts as the mold. If you change the ingredients but use the same mold, the cupcakes will look the same but taste different. On the other hand, if you keep the ingredients the same but change the mold, the cupcakes will have the same flavor but different shapes. Now, if you consider the ingredients as the data source and the mold as the master page, you'll see that you've got the basic principle behind this type of pagination. Okay, let's get started with our tutorial. I'm going to use the automation of an imaginary drone store catalog as an example to show you how powerful and easy to set up the master page-based pagination really is. During the pagination process based on master pages, EasyCatalog utilizes field markers that we previously placed in each master page of the document. These include descriptions, titles, icons, technical tables, images, and other graphic elements, both dynamic and static. EasyCatalog will then populate the master page with all the data for each product, and it will also insert as many pages as necessary to paginate all the products selected in the data panel. Master page pagination is one of the fastest and easiest ways to automate a layout, as long as the information in each record of your database is similar in format and length. To make things more efficient, your data source should tell you which master page template each product is expected to use. This approach lets you create a rich and varied design that you can control directly from your database. It's important to remember that certain elements like the technical reference table, the list of icons, or the images of each color a drone is available in need to be structured in a specific way in the data source. To effectively manage a data source with this level of complexity, I recommend using a tool like Ninox, a powerful cloud database for which Newsmates is an official partner. Ninox is a low-code application that simplifies the digitization of your company's information. So, why do we suggest using Ninox instead of a spreadsheet to manage your product data? Let me show you with a simple diagram. As you'll see, our exercise database includes 3 tables: products, series, and colors. The products table represents a commercial entity, showcasing a set of common characteristics to the customer. But the actual items marketed are the entries in the series table. And since a product can come in multiple colors, we use another table to manage color-related data, which includes the color name and an image of the product in that color. Spreadsheets aren't the best tool for representing all the different fields that go into a data model like this. That makes it really inefficient when you need to update a common data item. You'd have to go back and update it in every single row. If you use Ninox, you can update a piece of data in the product form and it'll automatically update all the series associated with that product. Plus, it's a breeze to add other resources like images, multiple choice fields, or Boolean fields in a visual way using Ninox. Now let's take a look at how we can recreate this data model using EasyCatalog. Ninox uses a custom API to share information with other apps. If you haven't set one up already, go to your user icon, select Ninox Settings, and then go to Integrations. Under API Keys, you can either create a new one or copy an existing one. You can change the privileges of a key by selecting a role with more or less privileges. Just look for the role column in the API Keys table. And now back to InDesign. Just a heads up, to connect directly to Ninox using EasyCatalog, you'll need to install the Enterprise module. To get started, select File, New, EasyCatalog panel, New Ninox data source. If you don't see this option in your menu, you'll need to install the specific connector we've developed for directly connecting to a Ninox database. To do this, just select Manage Enterprise Data Providers. As I mentioned before, this option will only be available if you have a license for the Enterprise module. Now, just select Ninox from the list of available connections and then click the Install button. My Install button is grayed out because I've already installed the Ninox data provider. Now you can create a new panel that will receive the data directly from a Ninox table. Since we have an enterprise account, I need to replace the default URL with our custom URL. Setting up the connection panel is a breeze. All you have to do is enter the API key we've already created in Ninox, and then you just need to choose the team, the database, and finally the table you want to import. It's really straightforward. Sometimes you'll need to download data from more than one table. To do this, you'll need to create as many EasyCatalog panels as tables you want to connect, and then combine them together by creating a combined panel. We won't go into more detail in this video, but remember you can always contact us directly so we can advise you on the best way to set up a connection to your data source. Let's keep going. Once we've imported the data, we can use the grouping options to create the following structure. I will group the panel by product name and then by series. Now we have a first level, which is the product, and then a second level, the series, which contains the records. As each series is marketed in several colors, we've configured a field in Ninox that returns the list of colors as a field of type list of values separated by comma. I'll show you how to work with this type of field later on. Now it's time to get creative. We'll use this InDesign document as a design reference to create the master page spread we'll use for this project. And since we can show a product with two different layouts in our catalog, we'll create two master pages. Here's how to create a master page in no time. First, select each static element, then swap it out for a field marker. This makes it easy to dynamically add product information to the page, using the same styles, color, size, and position as the original element. I'll start with the mockup page, make the changes, and then transfer them to the master page. Let's start with the QR code. If we take a closer look at the P web page field, you'll see that it's a URL. You'll need a proper URL to generate a working QR code. Now, to get EasyCatalog to automatically generate a QR code, I'll access the field options, and in the Format section, choose the barcode option. Now, in the barcode type drop-down menu, choose QR code. Pick a color. I suggest black or 100% K. And finally, check the Insert Hyperlink box so that when we export the document in interactive PDF format, EasyCatalog inserts a hyperlink we can click on. Click OK to close the dialog box. Let's test our QR code now. First, delete the content of the frame and insert the field marker. If I drag a record from the data panel, EasyCatalog will generate a new QR code. Open the Window Interactive Hyperlinks panel, and you'll see it has just inserted a new hyperlink pointing to our web page. Perfect. The next two items are really easy to automate. Just select the whole text frame with a triple click and insert the corresponding field marker. For this text, I'll use the contents of the P reference field. And for this one, the contents of the P product name field. It's as simple as that. As always, I'll test it by dragging a record to each text frame. Great. And now for the tricky part, automating the creation of the list of icons and captions corresponding to each product attribute. To make things easier, I created an Illustrator file for each item on the list with the same name. As you can see, this field is a comma-separated list of values. If I access the properties of the field and select the Image Content tab, I can choose a location where EasyCatalog will look for the file that matches each of the values in the field. Since the icons are in Adobe Illustrator format, I'll write .ai as the extension. So, EasyCatalog will go looking in the path we've specified for any files ending in .ai with a name that matches one of the values in the field. I'll just click OK to inspect my field. You'll see that EasyCatalog now displays a rectangle in which, in theory, you should see the icon of each one of the attributes. If I now create an image frame, insert the field specifier, and drag a record, I get nothing. Why is that? It's because there's no file name with that long a name in the specified path. Luckily, there's a way to fix this. EasyCatalog has a solution. If we edit the properties of the field and look for the General section and then Cleansing options, you'll see a button with a pencil. I'll click on it to tell EasyCatalog to look for each comma in the field and replace it with a carriage return. Then I click OK to close the dialog box. And now several image boxes are displayed. The first one also shows the thumbnail of an icon. Why don't the others work? If you look closely at the field, you'll see that each of the values was separated by a comma and a blank space. So now we are left with a carriage return and a blank space. Let's remove that white space. I open the field options again and go to General. Cleanup options, click on the pencil, and enter a new option, replacing a blank space with nothing. I click OK, and yep, here are our icons. Okay, let's test it. I'm going to create an image frame. Insert the field marker, drag a record, and here's the icon. For displaying the icon's label, I'm going to create a text frame just below the icon. And I'll reinsert the same field marker with the text cursor in the frame. You'll notice that things have changed with this field. When you add a field to a text frame, the field marker is replaced with each and every character, including carriage returns, in the field. But our goal was to show only the text corresponding to each icon label. We'll get to that later. Okay, I'll go ahead and delete this sample frame and use one of the image and text frames I've already created for the mockup. That way, I can keep the icons at the right size. I'm going to group both frames now. To set up a formatting rule for the icon and its legend, just drag the group to the Formatting Rules panel. I double-click to change the name to Technology so I can identify it later. Okay. Now, I will show you the Container tool, one of the most powerful features that EasyCatalog has added in its latest versions. A container is like a text frame where we can automatically insert one or more formatting rules, so they flow and keep a horizontal and vertical space between them. To draw a container, just drag a rectangle with the Containers tool. Now, let's say I create a simple formatting rule. I'll display the name of each series. Add a background color. And then drag the formatting rule to the container. Then, I'll drag a product from the data panel to see what happens. The container shows each series name in its own text frame. If I open the Containers panel now, I can configure a lot of parameters. They're very similar to the text wrapping tools within a text frame. This lets me decide how the different formatting rules will be aligned in the container and how much spacing there will be between them both. horizontally and vertically. Okay, let's move on. Now that you know what a container is, let's assign the technology formatting rule to it. If I now drag any record into the container, nothing happens. It seems to show the overflow icon, but nothing is displayed. Why is that? Let's take a look at the properties of our field again. This time, let's check out the advanced section. If I check the Contains Multiple Values box, EasyCatalog will be able to interpret each of the icons as a different value. Now I just need to do the same in the formatting rule. I'll go into the Usage section to tell EasyCatalog that it should use the values in the field. All set. If I drag a record back into the container, it's great. We've finished the list of icons. To finish up, I'll use the alignment and spacing options to get the container just right. Finally, we want the container to fit the dimensions of the content, so I'll check the Auto Fit box. As you can see, setting up a dynamic icon list correctly takes a few steps, but once you get the hang of it, you'll see that it makes sense. It's also pretty darn powerful. To get the container ready to receive the value of any field, I'll just click this button to empty it. Now, let's decide how to paginate our list of icons. If you look at the data pane, you'll see that each product is made up of more than one series. In our document, we want the data for a spread to be filled only once for each product, not once for each series. If I drag a complete product, which is made up of 2 or more series, the container will show all the icons for each series, which is basically just duplicating them once for each record in the panel. How can we stop this from happening? First, let's select the container to modify its behavior. In the Pagination Rules panel, I will select Paginate once per group. In the Group Name field, I select the name of the main group, which in our case is p.product_name_n. Finally, in the Position Index field, I type 11. This tells EasyCatalog to place the list of icons only for the first group, and within it, only for the first record. Done. Now, when we paginate the document, the container will be filled only with the values of the first record of the first group. This means that the icons will be displayed only once for each product. Let's try it. If I paginate the first product, it works. You'll notice that it only populates the list of icons for the first product. Now it's time for the product description field. This is where it's really handy to be able to enter several text formats in the same field. Fortunately, Ninox has you covered. It has a rich text type field, which, as you can see, allows you to assign different levels of title, value lists, or paragraphs to the text. In our example database, we've used the HTML H2 tag to specify the subtitle and the P tag to delimit paragraphs. Let's go back to InDesign. If I just drop the contents of the description field into InDesign, you'll see how each of the HTML tags we've specified in Ninox is displayed on the page. I'm going to edit the field properties to match each of the HTML tags to the proper paragraph style. I'll use the cleanup options again. In the Field Options General panel, click the pencil icon to open the Cleanup Options dialog box. Now I'll click New to add a new cleanup option and type the H2 tag in the Find box. Whenever we find this tag, we want InDesign to start a new paragraph and apply our Title 3 paragraph style to it. To do this, I'll type p-class equals Title 3 in the Replace With box. Does this type of code sound familiar? You guessed it. It's just raw HTML code. Now we need to add the closing p tag for each H2 tag. To do this, I'll replace the closing H2 tag with a paragraph closing tag. Finally, Finally, I'll replace the paragraph tags with p-class equals body_white. This will apply the body_white paragraph style whenever we encounter a paragraph tag. If I now place the contents of the field in the document, notice how EasyCatalog has correctly replaced the default tags with the ones we have specified. It's time to work our magic. I edit the field again, and this time I will specify that it is an enhanced HTML field. I place the field content again. Perfect. EasyCatalog is now correctly applying the paragraph styles we have specified from our data source. So I will apply the field specifier to the original text frame. And check it dragging the first record. Perfect. To insert the main image displayed on the page, just select the image frame, then select the p.image_main_URL field, and finally choose the Insert Field Specifier option. If I now drag a record, see how the image occupies most of the frame, but it doesn't fill the whole space. This is because the default behavior in an image frame is to proportionally fit the frame. However, we'd prefer to use another option, fill proportionally. To do this, just edit the image content options in the Field Options panel and select Fill Proportionally in the Scaling value, or select the Content Aware Fit option. Either of these should work. Now, if I drag a record, the image takes up the whole free space on the page. Perfect. I'll now apply the same procedure to the rest of the images in the spread. I'll add a detail here, another detail image there, and all done. Now that we've got all the field specifiers in place, we just need to remove the default images from the frames so that EasyCatalog can populate them with the right content for each product. Now for the product characteristics text. Like the description field, this field is another rich text area with different paragraph styles. I've already set it up the same way as the description field, but with different paragraph styles for the headline and body text. Just a heads up, make sure you check the HTML option and select the Enhanced option in the Format section so EasyCatalog can apply the right paragraph styles. Now I'm going to insert the field specifier and drag a record to the frame to test that EasyCatalog applies the proper formatting. Great! Let's now automate the list of available colors for each drone. As you can see, our catalog shows the image and the name of each of the colors in which a drone is marketed. However, the only info our database gives us is a list of serial numbers, each corresponding to a finish. How can we turn this simple list of numbers into an image and name that we can then automate? There are two ways to go about this. You can either do it directly from the database using the programming language provided by Ninox, or in EasyCatalog, using a programming language called Lua. As it's about transforming the data for a specific output, we'd rather do it directly in EasyCatalog. I don't want to scare you with this example, but I want to show you how powerful EasyCatalog is and how it can solve any problem you throw at it. But fear not. If you think your automation project needs a configuration like this, please contact us directly using the contact form on our website. We will be happy to help you. Take a look at this script. It's the one we've programmed to calculate each color name and the path to its corresponding image. It'll return two lists of values in two custom fields we've created for this purpose. One field will contain a list of the download URLs for each image file, and the other will have the list of commercial names assigned to each color. Okay, now we've got our two value lists set up just right. I've already done the same steps I showed you before when I set up the icon list automation. First, I created the formatting rule, and and then I made a container to show each product image and name. Now, if I drag a product into the container, it works perfectly. Last step, we only need to automate the features table to finish our master page. As I showed you in previous tutorials, EasyCatalog automatically fills a table by creating a row with the values for each record in a group. It does this by default from top to bottom, which means the tables will grow vertically. For instance, if I create a table, add 3 field specifiers, and then drag a product. EasyCatalog creates as many rows as there are records in the group. But if we take a closer look at the table in our design, you'll see that it has as many columns as series. This means that we need to create a column for each new record, not a row. So I'm going to make this table in a different way. Look. First, I select the table. Then, in the Table Options menu, I choose the Expand Horizontally option. Now, if I drag the product again, you'll see how it creates as many columns as there are different records in the group. To control the width of the individual columns, I'll start by adjusting the width of the second column to match the width of the text frame. I'll then select it and choose the Variable option from the Table menu's Column Options. If I now drag the product, you'll see that EasyCatalog has evenly divided the space between the columns it has just added. To get started on creating a table like this one, you'll want to start by creating 2 columns. Type the row titles in the first column and place each corresponding field specifier in the second one. Now select the second column. This is the one we want to duplicate as many times as there are series in a product. Then, adjust the width of each cell so that they all occupy this space proportionally. Oops, I forgot to add this field specifier. That's better. Now select the second column and, in Column Options, select Variable for the Width option. This will make all the columns the same width. Finally, drag the record again to the table and great! We have now a dynamic table that extends horizontally. Our example catalog offers 2 different layout options, so I've created a second master page that's basically the same as the first one, but with a different layout for the elements and some minor color changes. This will make the catalog more dynamic and visually appealing. Now it's time to paginate our catalog. Our InDesign template has now 2 different master pages, so users can choose which one to apply to a product directly from the Ninox database using this drop-down menu. When we get back to InDesign, we can use the value of this field to let EasyCatalog know which of the 2 master page spreads it should use for pagination. To make sure this feature works smoothly, we've given each master page spread the same names as the values that populates the field. To paginate our catalog, first select all the products by triple-clicking one of the records in the EasyCatalog panel. Now select Paginate and choose the option Using Master Pages. Our catalog has a complete spreadsheet for each product, so I'm going to choose the Spreads option in the Paginate drop-down menu. This type of pagination has lots of options that we don't need for our example catalog, so I'll just focus on the ones we do need for our project. For the Apply Master in Field option, I'll go for P-Model. That's the name of the field that contains the name of the master page we want to use. Just a heads up, this field will be populated with the exact name of the master page we want to use. Now just select the field name PProduct_name_en to have EasyCatalog create a new page every time the value of this field changes. This is the one we've been using to group our data. In our exercise, there are 3 different values for this field, as shown in the data panel. So, EasyCatalog will create 3 different spreads. I'll leave the rest of the options at their default values. Click OK, and wow! EasyCatalog just put together our whole catalog with all the right icons, images, and technical data, and completely error-free. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a little more about this really powerful tool. If you have any questions, need help getting started, or just want to chat about automating your catalog, don't hesitate to reach out. See you in the next video tutorial.